Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Carlos Walsh, and today I'm here on behalf of the troubled teen industry over in Kentucky, and we are reporting abuse that happened in boarding schools all across the US and not just in Kentucky. Today I have with me a special guest who was at Pilgrim's Rest Ministry of Reconciliation, Ian Knopf. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for scheduling this time to speak with me. So I know you went to Pilgrim's Rest. I was there, I was there for 12 years and I saw a lot of guys come and go. And you were one of those guys I saw come. Today, we're going to be coming at a different angle. We're also going to be talking about how a lot of these children were referred to Pilgrim's Rest. And Ian, you were referred by a therapist who referred a lot of other children over to this particular boarding school. But why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and about your time at Pilgrim's Rest and also this therapist.
Yeah, my name is Ian. I'm from Washington, and I spent 7 years in Kentucky from 2010 to 2019. Let's see. And I'm just on this podcast right now. Sorry, I don't know what to say.
I know it's understandable. I'll bring up the subject so you can kind of like answer my questions and stuff. No, but it's good to have you. I remember you coming to Pilgrim's Rest not too long after I did, about maybe 2 or 3 years after I did. And, I remember the day, I remember seeing you come there and, we went out to eat and everything. But why don't you go ahead and tell us about your time at Pilgrim's Rest? A lot of children have come forward, or I'm sorry, a lot of former students, they're not children anymore. A lot of former students have come forward about, the abuse that they saw and experienced over there. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
Like about the beast. Let me see. I mean, it was more or less with me intimidation from everybody. Like they had to obey the rules or you're going to get like restrained or or get pretty bad punishments. Like I remember the rumors and stuff before about people bear crawling.
Mm-hmm.
I think they stopped just as I got there, like because CPS is already called. But I remember meeting Danny Olms, I think it was.
Yeah.
This kid was pretty messed up. And I think he's the one that told on Vanderkoy about him having a knife at him or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first encounter with one of the students was actually Danny, because I sat right and I actually got in trouble for giving him my chicken. So
yeah, I know. A lot of people told me the food wasn't exactly the best over there, especially for guys growing up and stuff, body needs replenishing and stuff. So go ahead.
It grew on you after a while. I mean, you did get used to it, but
Yeah. So let's talk about the therapists that you had over in Washington State, Mark and Rebecca. I understand you didn't know Rebecca, but you had some therapy with Mark, and then he referred you over to Pilgrim's Rest.
Yeah, so I was a little kid, maybe 5 or 6, had some issues and whatnot, a lot of anger issues, and I was sent to Mark to try to see if he could help that. But a lot of the time, he kept mentioning Kentucky as an alternative to helping, so-called helping me. But no, my other family in New Jersey wouldn't let that happen. So I actually went to New Jersey before I went to Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I mean, all I knew of Mark was that he was a counselor. I mean, counselors are really good with messing with your brain. So I mean, that's all I can say really about it. Like, I didn't know anybody from Pilgrim's Rest that was there before I was.
Yeah.
Mark's place. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of children have been referred over there, and it was kind of common because, I remember Kelly Vanderkoy would, have all the students raise their hands, and, he would say, how many of y'all from Washington State? And I remember at one point in time, it was over 50% of the school was from Washington State. We didn't think about it at that point in time. We just all knew, we're all from the same state, but also, this person, there's a one factor in common, and that was attachment and trauma care specialist over in Kirkland. And how long were you in Pilgrim's Rest?
I was there for 7 years, I believe. 2010 to 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Oh, no. 2012. Never mind. That was wrong. Yeah, 2012 to 2019. That's 7 years. There we go.
yeah. Uh, so when it comes to like you were there for such a long time, do you think that was necessary or no?
Oh no, like for now, like I don't even talk to the parents that actually sent me to Kentucky because they refuse to listen to whatever I've said. Uh like it's just all messed up there. Like I already have a new family technically
Mm,
that actually listens to what I went through, and it's not a one-sided conversation. It's that I made progress recuperating from that place,
mhm.
and stuff is not necessary. It was literally just setting me back from being better off in the world, I would say. And that's for anybody. Like as soon as you get out of there, especially if you're an adult or near an adult, you're messed up. You don't have anything really to do. Like you don't know what you're supposed to do. You know, talking to people is really stupid. Like you
Mhm.
don't know what to say, like you sound like an idiot, all kinds of crap like that.
Yeah.
You know, you went through that too.
Oh, absolutely. I still honestly, I have to be honest. I still struggle with that to this day. Is I'm a little socially awkward because one of the big rules over there was you're not allowed to talk, and they enforced that rule to as much as they could. Um, and so it kind of depletes you of being able to socially connect with somebody, and it becomes awkward for you when you're trying to go out there and do business and trying to like get some stuff done and all that other good stuff. Just trying to be an adult. um so you were there for 7 years, and you left a little bit after I did. I'd finally graduated out of the program. um I guess what I want to ask is, why didn't your parents believe you? Like, you told them all the stuff that had happened over there, and why, like, can you like tell me why they didn't believe you and why they didn't want to believe you, or why they just chose not to believe you or anything like that?
Well, I remember lying as a kid, but like I feel like a lot of kids lie, but
Mhm.
like it was to the point where I as a kid was like getting more I would say like aggressive, but like my lies weren't as big as I thought they were during that time. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But especially in Kentucky, like they probably thought that, hey, I'm just trying to get out of there by saying that this is happening. But I'm not. Like they're like one of the things they said to me is like, if it's real, then tell me and we'll call the police. And I told them no, because if you call the police, it's gonna affect me. I'm still gonna be there. It's gonna fuck my life up, you
Mhm.
know. So that's one thing I wouldn't say too. Like I don't know, they were suspicious of me because they thought I wanted to get out easy, but
Yeah.
I didn't need to be there for 7 years. I literally was messing around as a kid would, my age. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't doing right because I wasn't following God or whatever.
Hmm.
And everybody told my parents that that's what Kelly said all the time. But
Hmm.
oh no, when I talked to Kelly, he's like, I didn't say that. I didn't tell your dad that. Quit
Hmm.
lying. And it's like, but you did tell him that. It's like it's just a bunch of shit. Like he seems to lie out both his ears in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
So Kelly Vandercook, he definitely he's lied to a lot of parents, and you brought up a good point about talking out of both sides of his ears or both sides of his head.
yeah,
Um,
whatever the saying was.
yeah, I can't remember it, but it was very common that he would tell you one thing and tell your parents another thing, and then when you guys talked about it, it just didn't seem to match up. I definitely tried telling my parents the same thing, like, listen, this is what he said, and this is what I'm not doing. And then I tried telling my parents, and yeah, it just didn't work out. And a lot of parents from former students have had the same conflict, and their stories just don't match up. And so it's like, who do we believe? We can't obviously believe our child because he has a history, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, no, I think honestly, in my personal opinion, this is just from me though. That's one of the ways he was able to maintain business and able to keep children there and keep the money flowing is okay. Listen, this kid, his parents are, can pay. So let's just keep him here for small, different, odd reasons and small little white lies. It's a money-making business. That's essentially what it is. So I understand, and I was there and I saw all this, but I want you to explain. It wasn't just Vanderkoy who was abusive with a lot of the children. There was also some staff members that I remember who got very physical, almost like, or some even to the point where they drew blood. Uh, and it was really bad. Why don't you go ahead and try explaining that to everyone?
Well, the big one I remember was Matthew Knudsen.
Mhm.
I was the assistant room leader, I believe, at the time, and Echo was there too, and like Vanderkoy went off the hook because he kept arguing with him.
Mhm.
Started his face into a door, and the door shattered off his hinges, and then he hit his face on the sink in the bathroom.
Mhm.
So it's all going on, like him, like kicking him around in the bathroom and stuff. He comes out, there's blood everywhere and stuff. Like I'm instructed to make sure I lock the doors so like he didn't run away, and that was John telling us that. And I feel like John at the time did say that his dad did go too far because I know he's talking to Miss Farrington. I heard a little bit about that, but I mean, still, like it happened. It's like if I go beat somebody up right now, it still happened. It's not that it's not the fact that I did something over the top. It's that I need to be incarcerated for that situation
Yeah.
because you know, you don't go beating up minors and make it right or whatever.
Yeah.
I understand the old days, the old phrase like, "Oh, I'd never talk to my dad like that," but in reality, all the time you were just scared of messing with your dad. I mean, seriously, like
Mhm.
that's not you know, you respect your dad one way or the other. Like that's what my dad tried to instill, but he couldn't because I was bigger than him. So I've had stuff thrown at me by my dad before. So it didn't go either way. It didn't work with intimidation. Like with Kelly, it worked because we're stuck there. Like we rely on him. So
Yeah.
he completely ruined our life in that instant. We could be there for another 7 years. That was always the scary thing.
Yeah, that was definitely a big thing. Is like you never saw it ending. You thought you were stuck there for the rest of your days. You fortunately got out just a little bit before you graduated high school, and you kind of, it was fortunate for you that you got to ease out of that. You had a lot of friends and family there to help you ease out of that period before you had to step out into the world. And I think like a lot of kids don't have that, and it's very unfortunate because of what they experienced there. And that brings me to my next point, and probably my final point is um, you were there for such a while that it became a normality to you. And if I'm not mistaken, you even talked to Vanderkoy after you got out. But you told me that it was more of a what's that syndrome that you have from your stalkers?
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome, exactly. And how the abuse became a normality to you that you thought it was, you deserved it. Why don't you go ahead and try to explain to everyone about that?
Well, it's a state of manipulation. Like people can say that I'm lying and I'm just letting out my emotions in the wrong way, but in reality, if you take a real look at it, what all is said there is to benefit them. It's not. It would be. It's so called to benefit you in a way, but only if you're according to the religious standpoint. Like if you follow God, you follow right, things are just going to go into place. If you do this, do that, and you're so used to that that every student I've ever talked to when they get out, they're like, "Oh yeah, I still like Vanderkoy," or "Oh yeah, I still follow God," or "I do this." And it's not that I don't follow God or I don't do anything like religious, so to speak, but it's like when you realize really how you've been treated and how passive aggressive and other kinds of junk went on, like you realize that this religion or this so-called backing to it doesn't really face up to what really he was.
Yeah.
It doesn't up, and you don't want to go into that area because you weren't like this. Like, why should I live according to what you did? And the reason why, can I say names?
Um, is it staff member names or is it student names?
No,
Student?
just Yeah.
Let's try to keep students' name out of this because
All right.
they can have legal implications. But if you can go ahead and say that person or like a certain person that you
All
know
right.
that went there.
So there was some certain person that came out really recently, and he had to get help from Vanderkoy with because he got a new family and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's reliant totally on Vanderkoy to get all that stuff done, and of course he's going to be appreciative to Vanderkoy for that. I mean, like I was appreciative for the time to be out of there, but like I should have been out of there a long time ago. Like it's
Mhm.
just it's a post wearing off situation when you realize what you actually missed out on just being a normal kid, you
Yeah.
know.
Do you think your family failed at rising to the occasion to raise you? I understand that they aren't your biological family. I don't know who my biological family. We're actually both, we were born in Guatemala. But as adoptive parents, they understood the risks of adopting a child and what he would bring from his old life. They should have understood those risks. That's my opinion. Do you think they failed in rising to the occasion and being able to raise you?
I feel like they tried their best, but they weren't able to handle the situations that arise with me because I was completely different and there's a lot more to put together there. And they were just looking for answers in any which way.
Mhm.
And that's where my family in New Jersey was like, what are you guys doing? Like, you're about to send your 5-year-old to this random place in the South. Like, that doesn't sound like a good plan,
Yeah.
with them. That's why I got sent to New Jersey for a bit. But yeah, like no, I don't feel like they I feel like they kind of did their best, but then refused and then got stubborn with it and then refused to listen to me any further as an adult. Even when I don't have as many issues as I did back then, like they still refuse to listen to me. It's like, look, if you're not gonna listen to me, I don't need to talk to you. You're just kind of holding an anchor to me. Like I don't need to have your name anymore. I don't need to do this.
Mhm.
I leave. That's the good thing about being an adult, as you know. Yeah. So I do feel like they dropped it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Ian, thank you so much for giving me your time. It's been great. And thank you so much for explaining to everyone what happened over there and also Mark and Rebecca and, being able to implicate their company and what they've done to a lot of children. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Uh, you have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye. And everyone, we're back. And thank you so much for watching the channel. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, turn on your notifications when I release new videos. I've got more students lined up who are ready to talk. I apologize, I haven't been able to create more content, but we are going to start releasing more, especially from students who came from the state of Washington, and we're going to be revealing that part. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day. God bless.